Have you ever wondered what it would be like for humans to live on Mars? The idea of colonizing another planet is no longer just the stuff of science fiction, it's becoming a real possibility. Imagine a future where humans are an interplanetary species. Sounds exciting, right? But there's a lot more to it than just the thrill of space travel. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a comprehensive understanding of Mars colonization, from the groundbreaking technology and pioneering missions to the ethical, political, and environmental ramifications. First, we'll explore the incredible technology making this possible. From SpaceX's ambitious plans and NASA's cutting-edge research to international collaborations, we'll uncover how close we really are to setting foot on the red planet. Next, we'll delve into the challenges both known and unknown. What are the risks of long-term space travel? How will we sustain human life on a planet with such a harsh environment? And what happens if things go wrong? But that's not all. We'll also look at the global ramifications. How will Mars colonization affect geopolitical dynamics? Will it spark new alliances or intensify rivalries? And what about the ethical considerations of terraforming another planet? These are the questions that scientists, politicians, and ethicists are grappling with right now. I'll share insights from experts, highlight the latest mission updates, and discuss the potential benefits and drawbacks of becoming a multiplanetary species. Plus, we'll take a look at what life might actually be like on Mars, from day-to-day living to the psychological impact of leaving Earth behind. Alright, let's kick things off with the new Space Race 2.0. If you remember, the original space race was all about the US and the Soviet Union flexing their muscles and trying to be the first to the moon. Fast forward to today, and we're seeing a whole new kind of competition. This time, it's not just about getting to space, it's about staying there and making a new home on Mars. Back in the 60s, the space race was fueled by political rivalry and the desire to showcase technological superiority. Today, it's a mix of national pride, scientific curiosity, and yes, the tantalizing prospect of potentially making a lot of money. Space tourism, mining, and colonization are on the table. And it's not just countries that are in the race, private companies are leading the charge. Leading the pack is SpaceX. Musk is on a mission to make humans a multiplanetary species, and he's serious about it. His company is developing the Starship, a fully reusable spacecraft designed to carry humans to Mars and beyond. Then there's NASA, which is working on the Artemis program aimed at returning humans to the moon as a stepping stone to Mars. And let's not forget about the international scene. Countries like China, India, and the European Space Agency are all making significant strides. So, we've got the players and the plans. But what about the hurdles? Colonizing Mars isn't going to be a walk in the park. Let's talk about the technological and logistical challenges, as well as the human factors involved. First off, getting to Mars is no small feat. It's about 54.6 million kilometers away at its closest approach. We're talking about a journey that could take anywhere from 6 to 9 months. During this time, astronauts will be exposed to radiation, microgravity, and the ever-present risk of technical malfunctions. Once we get there, we'll need to build habitats that can protect us from Mars' harsh environment. The thin atmosphere doesn't do much to block radiation, and the temperatures can plummet to a bone-chilling minus 125 degrees Celsius at night. Then there's the question of sustaining life. We'll need air, water, and food, all of which are scarce on Mars. Scientists are exploring ways to produce these essentials on the Martian surface. For instance, we could extract water from the soil or create it through chemical reactions. Growing food will be another challenge, but experiments like the ones conducted with the International Space Station's Veggie project are showing promise. And let's not forget radiation protection. On Earth, we're shielded by our planet's magnetic field and atmosphere. Mars, however, lacks such defenses, so we'll need to develop robust shielding for habitats and suits. This might involve using Martian soil to build protective structures. Alright, time to address some of the more fantastical ideas out there. Mars has been a popular subject in science fiction for decades, so let's separate fact from fiction. Mars has been depicted as everything from a bustling metropolis to a barren wasteland inhabited by hidden aliens. While the idea of Martians is entertaining, the reality is that we've found no evidence of intelligent life. However, the possibility of microbial life, tiny organisms that could survive in extreme conditions, is still on the table. Remember those old sci-fi movies with hidden alien civilizations and ancient Martian cities? Well, as much as I love a good alien conspiracy theory, the scientific consensus is pretty clear: no ancient civilizations have been found. But hey, the search for microbial life is still exciting. Discovering even the smallest signs of life on Mars would be a game changer. So, what do we actually know about Mars? It's a planet with a thin atmosphere, composed mostly of carbon dioxide, and surface conditions that are harsh and inhospitable. The surface is covered in iron oxide, giving it that signature red color. Mars also has the largest volcano in the solar system, Olympus Mons, and the deepest canyon, Valles Marineris. Now, let's talk about terraforming. The idea of transforming Mars into a more Earth-like planet. This concept has been popularized by movies and books, but the reality is far more complex. Terraforming would require massive amounts of resources and technology that we currently don't possess. We'd need to thicken the atmosphere, warm the planet, and create a sustainable environment for humans. While it's a fascinating idea, it's not something we can achieve in the near future. And what about robots and AI? they're going to play a crucial role. Robots like the Mars rovers have already provided invaluable data about the planet's surface. Future missions will likely rely heavily on robotic assistance for construction, maintenance, and even some of the more dangerous tasks that would be too risky for humans. Alright, so we've talked about the technology, the challenges, and even some sci-fi fantasies. But now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. How is the race to colonize Mars going to change our world? Trust me, the implications are huge, and some of them might surprise you. First up, let's talk geopolitics. Now, space exploration has always been a bit of a power play, right? Back in the day, it was all about the US and the Soviet Union trying to one-up each other. But this new race to Mars? It's a whole different ball game. It's not just countries, it's companies like SpaceX, and they're shaking things up. Imagine this: countries like the US, China, and Russia are all pushing to get their flags planted on Mars. But instead of just bragging rights, there are real strategic advantages at stake. Whoever controls the technology and resources on Mars could gain significant geopolitical power back on Earth. We're talking about new space treaties, potential conflicts over resources, and alliances that could shift dramatically. Now, let's dig a little deeper into those space treaties. You might have heard of the Outer Space Treaty of 1967. It's kind of like the rulebook for how countries should behave in space: no weapons of mass destruction, space is for peaceful purposes, and no country can claim sovereignty over outer space or any celestial body. But here's the kicker: those treaties were written over 50 years ago. They didn't exactly plan for a future where private companies are leading the charge to colonize another planet. So as we get closer to making Mars colonization a reality, we're going to need to rethink and possibly rewrite these treaties. Questions like who owns the resources on Mars and what laws apply in a Martian colony. I need clear answers. Speaking of alliances, let's think about how international relations might evolve. On one hand, we could see some incredible collaborations. Imagine a multinational colony on Mars with scientists and engineers from around the world working together. It's like the International Space Station, but on a much larger scale. This kind of cooperation could foster new alliances and bring countries closer together. On the other hand, there's potential for new rivalries. If one country or company starts dominating Martian resources or technology, it could lead to tensions and competition. Space might become the new frontier for geopolitical power struggles, and that's something we'll need to navigate carefully. Alright, now let's switch gears a bit and talk about ethics. Colonizing another planet isn't just about rockets and robots, it raises some deep ethical questions. Do we have the right to alter Mars' environment? If we find microbial life, do we prioritize its preservation over our colonization efforts? These are tough questions, and there's no easy answer. Let's start with the environmental impact. Terraforming Mars, making it more Earth-like, is a popular idea in sci-fi, but in reality, it's incredibly complex and could have unforeseen consequences. Introducing Earth-based organisms to Mars could disrupt any existing ecosystems, even if they're microbial. We need to consider the long-term effects of our actions and ensure that we're not causing harm in our quest to expand. And what about our moral responsibilities? Becoming an interplanetary species is a monumental step for humanity, but it comes with a lot of responsibility. We need to ensure that our actions are guided by ethical principles and respect for both Earth and Mars. This means developing fair and sustainable practices for resource use, protecting any potential Martian life forms, and considering the social and psychological well-being of future Martian colonists. So as we dream about living on Mars and exploring the cosmos, let's remember that with great power comes great responsibility. The decisions we make now will shape the future of humanity, not just on Earth, but across the solar system. Now let's get to the part you've all been waiting for: what will life actually be like on Mars? Spoiler alert, it's not going to be anything like living on Earth, but it's going to be fascinating. Imagine this: you wake up in a cozy habitat that looks a bit like a futuristic igloo. The walls are thick to protect you from radiation, and there's a constant hum of life support systems keeping the air breathable and the temperature just right. Your daily routine, it's going to be unlike anything you've ever experienced. You'll start your day by checking the habitat systems, making sure the air filtration and water recycling units are functioning perfectly. Then, it's time for breakfast. Forget about bacon and eggs, you'll be eating nutrient-dense foods, possibly grown in hydroponic gardens inside the habitat. Think fresh vegetables and algae protein shakes. Yum. After breakfast, it's time to get to work. You might be conducting scientific experiments, exploring the Martian surface, or maintaining the habitat. Every task is crucial because, on Mars, there's no room for error. In your free time, you could communicate with Earth, exercise to keep your muscles and bones strong in the lower gravity, or simply relax and enjoy the view of the Martian landscape through specially shielded windows. Now, let's talk about the psychological and social challenges. Living on Mars will be tough not just physically but mentally. The isolation, confinement, and extreme environment will test even the most resilient individuals. Imagine being one of the few humans on an entire planet. You're far from home, family, and friends, with only a small group of people for company. This kind of isolation can lead to feelings of loneliness and homesickness. That's why psychological support will be crucial. Future Martian colonies will need strong mental health programs to help residents cope with these challenges. Social dynamics will also be interesting. With only a small community, relationships will be intense and complex. There's no escape from disagreements or conflicts, so effective communication and conflict resolution skills will be essential. Plus, we'll need to build a sense of community and shared purpose to keep morale high. The ultimate goal for life on Mars is to create self-sustaining colonies. This means we won't be relying on constant supplies from Earth. Instead, we'll produce our own food, recycle air and water, and generate energy locally. Food production will be a major focus. Hydroponics and aeroponics, growing plants without soil, will likely be used to cultivate crops inside habitats. We might also explore using Martian soil, enriched with nutrients, to grow food. This will be a game changer, allowing colonies to be more self-reliant. Recycling will be another key aspect. We'll need to recycle water and air efficiently to sustain life. This means advanced life support systems that can purify water and keep the air breathable. Solar panels and other renewable energy sources will power these systems, ensuring a sustainable energy supply. To give you a sense of what's possible, let's look at some current missions and success stories. One of the most ambitious projects is SpaceX's Starship. Elon Musk envisions a fleet of starships making regular trips to Mars, each capable of carrying 100 passengers and tons of cargo. These missions will be critical in establishing the first colonies and paving the way for more extensive human presence on Mars. Then there's NASA's Perseverance rover, which is already on Mars, gathering valuable data about the planet's geology and climate. This information will help future missions better prepare for the challenges of living on Mars. The rover is also testing technologies like MOXIE, which converts Martian CO2 into oxygen, a vital step toward producing breathable air for humans. We also have initiatives like the Mars Society's Mars Desert Research Station (MDRS) in Utah, where scientists and engineers simulate living on Mars. These simulations provide valuable insights into the daily challenges of Martian life and help us develop the technologies and strategies needed for a successful Mars colony. So, there you have it. Life on Mars will be a blend of cutting-edge technology, intense challenges, and incredible opportunities. It's a bold new frontier that will push the limits of human ingenuity and resilience. Whether you're dreaming of being one of the first Martian settlers or just fascinated by the possibilities, the future of Mars colonization is something we should all keep an eye on. And that's all for today. If you found this video fascinating, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Let's spread the word about the incredible future awaiting us beyond Earth. Together, we can inspire a new generation of explorers and dreamers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep looking up and dreaming big.